Riin Asura, our protagonist, wakes up in the middle of nowhere and starts to wonder about his identity, whereabouts, memories, and why he is in chains. He eventually gets up and starts to walk, but stops after a while and wonders how long he has been walking. Then, as he approaches something and claims he can't be the only person there, he stops when he sees a woman lying there. Riin feels desperate and asks himself where the hell he is and who killed that woman. He tries to calm down and takes a deep breath. Suddenly, a switch flipped within him and the disgust and horror disappeared. Then Riin felt a hand on his shoulder. When he turned, he saw a man with long hair asking him if he did that to the woman. Riin exclaims no, and the man says that he doesn't think that Riin can rip her chest open with his bare hands. The man helps Riin to stand up and reveals he doesn't know anything about where they are either, not even his own name. When asked how he managed to escape his restraints, the man says, "I wasn't shackled in chains," which surprises Riin. They are interrupted by a bright light, and pieces of paper land on each of them. Riin's note contains his full name and states that he is 19 years old and looking for his older sister, while the man's note identifies him as Tenjin Cho, 35 years old and married with children. They begin to question whether the information about them is accurate when suddenly a voice announces that weapons will be provided to them. The weapons appear on their hands and instructions appear telling them they have 5 minutes to fight each other to the death. If they fail to do so, they will get electrocuted by their suit, and the victor has to call upon God. Both Riin and Tenjin are shocked, while the voice welcomes them to the God game and announces the start of round 1. A 5-minute clock shows while they stand facing each other. Riin can't believe they are supposed to fight and the clock starts counting down. "Hey, this names and backgrounds, we don't know if they are real," he shouts. "You think this is a prank?" His opponent Tenjin, who is wearing the same outfit as he, shouts back at him. "This corpse is as real can be and you know it. Do you think they would wipe our memories as part of a joke? What about these suits that we can't take off?" Tenjin continues. Riin exhales and says to himself that even if it is fake, now this background is all I know, saying he has a family he must live for. Tenjin charges toward Riin, who is still reluctant to fight him. Riin begins to wonder how things ended up like this as he continues to dodge Tenjin's attacks. Riin eventually slashes Tenjin once and hesitates to finish him off, but the tables soon turn on him as Tenjin says to him, "You know it's lucky for me that your hands are bound. It's a free handicap. I could have killed Tenjin, why did I hesitate?" Riin asks himself as he lies down regretting. Tenjin is in shock as Riin dodges his finishing attack. Before he knows what is happening, Riin has already put a knife through his neck. "No more hesitation," he says, and Tenjin starts to beg for his life. "Please, I need to return to them." Riin is about to snap his neck with the chain he was bounded in. "I'm sorry," he says as he snaps Tenjin's neck. After killing him, Riin took a note out of his pocket and says, "For some reason, after killing this man I felt nothing." As he continues to talk to himself, a bright light appears in front of him. "I am God," says the voice from the light. "So this is what he looks like." Riin asks himself in awe as he stares at the strange figure in front of him. "How do you feel?" God asks Riin, who is still dumbfounded. "What is this place?" Riin asks, and God tells him it is a realm he created specifically for this game and that 2 million souls were imported to this round. "Why can't I remember? Why am I here?" Riin continues questioning God, who explains the game and how it works to him. He welcomes Riin to the game and departs. "Where the hell am I now?" Riin asks as he finds himself in a place full of other contestants dressed in the same outfit as him. He stood there as he continued to wonder and access the situation. In a game of survival, everyone will naturally pick out the weakling, he said to himself as he walks past everyone and stops in front of a figure who welcomes him. Did that mannequin just talk? Riin asks himself in shock as the figure, who introduces himself as Mr. Yora, the facilitator for the next round, continues talking to him. "Okay, Mr. Yora, where the hell are we?" Riin asks. "He won't tell you. We already tried asking all the questions you are thinking." Named Euron interrupts him. "Hopefully we can get through this together, yeah." Euron says as he tried to shake hands with Riin, who starts feeling a sharp pain in his chest. How could this guy know how to use such power? It's only been the first round, he wonders as he goes down in pain. A guy named Taekta Shinjin interrupts from nowhere. Euron tries to defend himself, saying he didn't touch Riin. Shinjin summons his weapon, leaving everyone including Riin in shock. And Euron explains that he just wanted to see if Riin is worthy of being his partner. "Ask one of your lackeys," Shinjin tells him and turns towards Riin. "You'll be my partner," he says to him. Riin, who was wondering why, quickly got up, introduces himself and shake hands with Shinjin, who does the same. "Let's go to the next round," he says to Riin as he walks off. "Shouldn't we ask the doll?" Riin asks. "Yora." "It's Mr. Yora." Yora interrupts and tells them the instructions will be provided when they leave the room. You heard him, let's go, Shinjin says, telling Rian that he doesn't want to waste time in the game. And Rian follows, wondering why he is in a rush. Rian tries to stop Shinjin, who walked into the void room, and is shocked to see that a path came out of nowhere. As Shinjin continues, Rian asks Shinjin why he chose him. And Shinjin tells him that his eyes are like God's. Rian stands in shock. They just look like his, that's all. I don't know if it means anything, but if it does, then I want you as an ally, Shinjin continues, after giving out his reasons to Rian, telling him to either keep up or die. As they step out of the room, they see a lady and an old holding a walking stick. You are kidding me, the elderly shouldn't be in a game like this, Rian shouts, says out loud, and Shinjin asks if he has a preference. Do you kids happen to know what this next round is? I don't want to make any assumptions, the old man asks them, as he moves towards them. Shinjin tells them not to come any closer. The old man asks for their names, but Shinjin urges Rian not to answer. Rian agrees too, saying the more detached they are to the enemies, the easier it will be when they die, and all of a sudden their opponents introduces themselves. The old man is Jiren, while the lady is Sarah. Yura appears dressed in a black suit with a bow tie. Putting on a hat and holding a ball, Rian is amazed that Yura looks different from before. Yura gave the rules of the game, which is the possessor of the ball will win a point for the team every second they hold it. The time limit is 15 minutes, the team with the highest point wins. The loser will be eliminated from the God game. You may use any means necessary to claim the ball, killing is allowed, he continues. However, if the ball falls off the platform, then both teams lose. As he finishes explaining, he asks if they have questions. Jiren asks what it means to be eliminated from the game, and Yura replies, death, as expected of the cruel god that runs this show, Sarah says, and then she summons her weapon, leaving Rian in shock, saying everyone knows how to call a weapon and he was never taught. Shinjin asks if God didn't tell him, and Rian replies no, that God refused to answer most of his questions, and Yura says it is interesting that God is keeping it a secret from him, and he immediately announces the beginning of the game. As the game starts, Shinjin dashes towards Jiren, but Sarah jumps in and blocks his attack, as Shinjin and Sarah are facing each other, leaving Jiren, who is standing with the ball, and Rian, who looks towards Jiren and tells him the ball is mine. Jiren sarcastically calls Rian a brave kid for charging at him without a weapon. He points his walking stick toward Rian, who is charging at him. Sorry about this, but I need to win this game, Jiren tells him, as he shoots out flames from his walking stick. Without hesitation, Rian goes through his attack and punches Jiren in the face, leaving him